Hey, what's up, everybody? Rob Cohee. Welcome back. Part two of some pretty sick part modeling tips and tricks here. All right, let's carry on from where we left off. What I want to do is I want to place a rib um, along that. You see that construction line there that I placed? It's basically determining the position of the center point of that circle. I want the rib to go along that path as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place, I'm going to start a sketch plane at 90 degrees on that, so I can get the correct angle that I'm looking for relative to where this sketch is going to cut across that the part here. So again, I'm gonna use slice, okay, and I'm gonna show you something that I didn't find right away that I find to be really helpful. I use project geometry all the time. It's one of the most common. I think between zoom and pan, project geometry might be my third most commonly used command. But here I've projected those those edges, and project isn't exactly project the sliced or the intersected geometry. You can see that it's not snapping to anything right here. All right, so here's a cool little little tidbit that you're going to want to remember. When you go down to create, go to project include, choose intersect. And basically, I'm just going to grab the body and anything that this sketch plane is intersecting with, project that geometry for me to snap to, for me to be able to reference as construction sketch geometry. Now, when I go to place my line, I don't want it to be a construction line, you can see that it's now actually putting a coincident constraint on that sliced edge. Little hard to discover. Somebody had to show it to me, so I figured I would I'll need to also show it to you. So we're going to use this a couple times actually in this tutorial. So really, really useful tool there. Okay, so I've got my the line that's going to represent the rib or web, whatever we want to call it. So in here we're call it the web command. Now you're going to see this, you're going to be like, what is going on, dude? All right, so what's going on is the web command expects you to be sketching on a work plane that is directionally, anyway, going into the part. Okay, my initial sketch plane was 90 degrees to that. And in thinking about this after I recorded the video, I probably could have done things a little bit different, but six one, half dozen the other. At the end of the day, I got the job done. Right, so here I'm going to place an angled work plane on that line, 0 degrees. Now it's facing normal, so I'll just project that line that I've already created, and I'll use that sketch for my web. It'll go down into the part. I'm sure if you've tried the web command before, this has happened to you. So I didn't want to edit this out and redo it, and not show you the struggles, because everybody sometimes kind of fumbles around in the features before you learn, the right application for it. So here, I just want a 5mm web, and it'll take that your open profile line. The feature determines the thickness, and the termination point is the next body it hits. So it's a really great tool to use in this particular use case. I could I have done an extrusion, and yeah, I could have, but again, use the tool for what it's used for. So I'm gonna place a couple fillets on here. Again, I know all you correctisons out there, correctorsons, are gonna tell me that rib needs draft and all that, because this is gonna be a cast part. I get it. Remember what the purpose of this is. All right, so remember why I had to do all those separate features in the first video. It's because of the how I wanted to represent the patterning that needs to happen here, the mirroring and the patterning that needs to go on. I needed those 4 features to be separate so I could select them in the timeline for my circular pattern. And you can see I select circular pattern, determine the direction, and I'll deselect the instances within that pattern that I don't want. And there you go. I only had to do it once to get 4 instances of it, equally distributed around the part as I need it to be. you see that shadowing that's going on the rib. I think it's a graphics issue that I need to get the team to look into, but I just rolled the timeline back a little bit and then fast forwarded it, and it goes away. Quick workaround to something that we need to fix in the product. I'll just call that out myself. Okay, so now I could either pattern, or in this case, I'll just go ahead and mirror. Again, I'm choosing the pattern type features, grab the patterns that I want, or the features that I want in the timeline, mirror around, and so in the end, I kind of saved myself a lot of work. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't, but I thought it was a pretty interesting approach to using the different capabilities of the product to get the result that I'm looking for. Okay, so next I'm gonna go ahead and create a little hole mount that kind of protrudes out from the lower right-hand corner of this part with an offset work plane, and I'm gonna go ahead and start a sketch on that work plane. And a couple cool sketch tips in this that I think you'll appreciate. So I'm just going to sketch a rectangle out here in space. And for now, I'm not going to put any dimensions on them because I'm going to place a fillet here first, 5mm fillet on all 4 corners. Could I have done this as a solid and then filleted a feature afterwards? Yes. Again, multiple ways to do the same thing. So now I'll go ahead and place the dimensions for the rectangle. And then I'll also place the dimensions for where it's placed. Again, cool thing about doing everything from center is it's a real easy way to get another reference point. So here I think I need 50mm, and then from the other side I'll add another dimension here, basically fully positioning this thing around. Okay, little adjustment here, closer to that box I want it to be, so we'll just change that to 49. All right, cool. Now, next thing I want to do is I'm going to place 2 points that will ultimately be used as reference to place a hole feature. The spacing between the hole is going to be on the center of that, so you can see I drew a construction line from midpoint to midpoint, and I place 2 hole points. Now I know the distance, the spacing that I want in between, and what I'm going to do next is I'm going to place a dimension using an equation that ensures that always stays, the spacing stays centered. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a parenthesis, click on the 2 dimensions that I need for the equation. So basically I want the overall length minus the spacing divided by 2 to be that distance. That way if I ever change any of these dimensions, the spacing stays centered on the face of that part. I don't know about you, I don't like to do math when I don't have to. So let the application do it for you. Right? So a nice little equation there. Overall length minus your spacing divided by 2 will give you that centered look. We're going to do that one more time here in the part. So if you didn't get it the first time, you'll get it here in, I think, part 3. So stay tuned. So I'll just extrude that to the back face. And you're thinking, hey, where did the hole centers go? I need to put those for the holes. Just turn the visibility of the sketch back on. Call up the hole command. You'll notice too, a lot of times when commands just pop up on the screen, I'm not going up to the command bar, I'm not right-clicking my mouse, I'm using keyboard shortcuts. So H is hole, E is extrude, P is project. I use those all the time, right? So definitely take a look at the keyboard shortcuts when they're available. And also don't forget about the S key. You hit the S key. It's a nice little shortcut for some commands that people like. All right, stay tuned. We're going to carry forward this with the next part 3. See you next time.